let's forget about spreadsheets and data charts for just a minute. Today, we're opening up a text that reads less like a science paper and more like, well, a gospel. Our source material actually calls it the Gospel of Hemp. And you know what? It's a pretty fascinating way to look at this ancient plant. So let's dive in and see what happens when knowledge is framed as a revelation.
Our source kicks things off with this really powerful question. Did you know, dear disciples, that there was a time when the herb was as good as gold? And listen, that's not just some flowery, poetic language. It's a direct reference to a forgotten piece of history where this plant's value was so huge, it was, and I mean this quite literally, currency.
The source calls this history a parable, and it's easy to see why. It tells this incredible story of a time when hemp wasn't just another crop, but a true cornerstone of the economy. It was absolutely essential for the growth and power of entire empires.
And here's the reality behind that parable. Back in the 17th and 18th centuries, the whole British Empire basically ran on its navy. And what did the navy run on? You guessed it, hemp, for all its ropes and sails. The demand was so critical that in the American colonies, we're talking places like Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, hemp was actually declared legal tender. Just imagine that for a second. Farmers could literally haul their harvest directly to the courthouse to pay their taxes. That's how vital it was. So, building on that powerful bit of history, our source introduces its core concept, the sacred archive. It positions itself as a high chronicler, ready to guide us through this massive library of knowledge. So what secrets are waiting for us inside?
So, the sacred archive is basically this metaphorical library. It's a framework designed to hold the entire body of knowledge about hemp. But it treats this information not just as dry data, but as a kind of wisdom, divided into what the source calls sacred texts. This whole archive is structured into 4 distinct books, and each one covers a crucial piece of the puzzle. You've got the Book of Strains, the Cultivator's Commandments, the Terpene Testaments, and the Alchemist's Guide. So let's crack open the first 2.
Okay, this first section gets into the absolute fundamentals, what the plant is on a genetic level, and then how you actually bring it to life from just a single seed, the what and the how.
And here you can see the first really key insight, separating the theory from the practice. The Book of Strains is the what. It's the blueprint, right? The genetics, the prophecy of what a plant can become. But then the Cultivator's Commandments, that's the how. That's the hands-on, step-by-step guide to nurturing that potential, all the way from the seed of life to the final rites of curing. Now we're going to move from the physical plant to its inner chemistry, what the source calls its essence in alchemy. This is where we get to explore the compounds that really define the plant's unique character and its effects.
So, the Terpene Testaments. This explores what our source so poetically calls angelic essences. In simple terms, these are terpenes, the natural aromatic oils that give plants their distinct smells. You know, it's the terpene pinene that makes a pine forest smell like pine. It's limonene that gives a lemon its citrusy punch. Well, in hemp, these compounds, like myrcene the merciful, don't just create the scent. They actually work with all the other compounds to shape the plant's overall effects.
And finally, the Alchemist's Guide. This one reveals the secret of the interaction between the plant and us. The holy cannabinoids are the compounds you've probably heard of, like CBD. But what about the temple of self? Well, that is just a brilliant metaphor for your body's own endocannabinoid system. Think of it as this huge network of docking stations or receptors all throughout your body that these cannabinoids are perfectly shaped to connect with. This guide is all about that fundamental chemical handshake between the plant and our own biology.
And that kind of concludes our tour through the sacred archive. You see, this whole gospel framing isn't about preaching at you. It's actually a really clever tool for transforming complex technical information into a story that's way more engaging and a lot easier to remember.
As our source puts it at the end, the air is thick with the incense of inquiry. And that really is the point, isn't it? It isn't about having all the answers, but about sparking curiosity and encouraging that continuous search for knowledge.
So, we'll leave you with this thought. This source treated hemp knowledge as a kind of sacred text. And it makes you wonder, right? What other complex subjects, anything from coding to astrophysics to brewing the perfect coffee, could be better understood if we approach them the same way? What changes when we stop seeing learning as a task and maybe start seeing it as a revelation?
What was I?